Chris Voss gave me a huge 1 year's worth of subscriptions on Patreon, and I'm grateful to him for bringing you today's video. Samut, the driving force, versus the Scorpion God, Meren, and Jodah. Not really liking the look of that. We're not doing anything there in the early game, so yeah, I think we're fine to ship that back. Takes us into Magda. I mean, best thing we can do there is just hope that we can swing in with Magda a few times and make some treasure. We can get our start your engines going as well with the new god, so try it. Well, that's something to fall back on at some point maybe. A Wheel of Fortune. We've got a Surveil land in our opening hand, so just play that. And a Plains on top is good because we don't have any white mana. The Scorpion God throws out a Blight Sickle, +1 to power, and has Wither. So we draw into the Plains. Let's get that down here, and instead of Hazoret and starting up the engines, we'll go for Magda, get Summoning Sickness off it, and hope that we can make some treasure, like we said. Farseek for Jodah, fixing the colours. Blood Artist for Meren. Don't manage to do anything with Magda, unfortunately. It eats some removal. That is Blur of Blades, -1/-1 counter on it. And triggers the Blood Artist. Looks like that was pointed at the Scorpion God. We do get into another Treasure Maker though. That will not have haste. So probably best going for that instead of the Hazoret. White and green is the most prevalent colour pairing, so we'll go for the Savannah here. And play Rocketeer Boost Buggy. Hopefully we can crew that with the Hazoret next turn. Arcane Signet for Jodah, and plays another Tricycle land. Meren plays Palantir of Orthanc, so is happy with either or there. Either gets the card draw or the mill. Meren is made with the Palantir to mill a Grist, Voracious Lava. Soul Stinger into play now. When it enters, put a couple of minus counters on it. The minus counters go on a creature when it dies. Kodama's Reach for us now, so is it more intelligent to just go Kodama's Reach? We're missing out this whole time on start your engines, but it's not like we could have been swinging in with Hazoret anyway. Yeah, let's go for the Kodama's Reach. Jodah into play on turn 4. Manages to make another land, so is going to be able to start cheating costs soon. Plays a Nature's Law, so not struggling on mana. Meren throws down Moira. This one is whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return to the battlefield a target creature in your graveyard that was put there this turn. The Palantir was allowed a card draw that time. A Yawgmoth this time, so able to sacrifice this to put minus counters on stuff. We'll see how trigger happy he is with that. Wouldn't be the worst to draw into a land here, because then we could go for the Weatherlight and Hazoret. See what happens. Okay, just draws into Peace Walker. So let's go Hazoret first of all. And there we see the speed token, which I haven't seen before now, so obviously that is just at speed 1 at the moment. And we can't attack or block with Hazoret anyway, so we might as well crew the Rocketeer with it. And as soon as it becomes a creature, it is at risk of dying to Yawgmoth. But we'll try and swing in with it first. Swing straight down the middle. I doubt our opponent wants to block with Moira, so we'll make a treasure token, and that does come into play untapped, so we can go for the Weatherlight after all. And we hit an opponent, so that triggers the speed, and takes it up to level 2. Maximum speed is 4, don't forget, and that will be the maximum discount that we get on our non-creature spells with the commander. So let's get down the Weatherlight. I would think that the minus counters from this would want to go onto Jodah if anything. He could have put a couple of minus counters on that and then one from the Yawgmoth as well, but decides to allow Jodah to untap with 5 colours available. Bloom Tender can add 5 mana, and following that up with a Sunbird's Invocation, so cheating that down for 5 mana. Sakura Tribalkai being played, that's probably one of the best cards in Meren. Steve being played by Meren, probably still one of the best cards in the deck to this day. And Moira making use, well, not making use of Menace, we can't block, but taking 3 damage in towards us. With the Orthanc, I'm going to say no and have our opponent mill. So mills a Command Tower, Rise of the Witch King, and Viridian Emissary. Ashenmoor Liege is other black and red creatures get +1/+1. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, they lose 4 life. So sacrificing to the Yawgmoth to put a minus counter on Jodah, and Soul Stinger also going over there. Triggers Blood Artist, which was pointed at Jodah as well, I think. Blood Artist triggers again when Jodah dies, and that time pointed at the Yawgmoth player. Decides not to swing in, just holding back blockers. So a land here would be excellent, and that's what we draw into. That means that we don't have to now go for Rocketeer Boost Buggy, although actually it means we can do both. We can crew this with the Hazoret and this with our commander, and then hope it survives long enough. So play Samut for the first time, and that hits play pretty quickly, so we'll just go for crew, tap down our commander. Or actually, we're not going to have maximum speed, are we? Yeah, if we were going to have maximum speed, I might have gone for Return of the Wild Speaker with the treasure, but we're not going to, unfortunately. So I might as well just swing in with the commander, I think. So let's tap down Hazoret to crew the Weatherlight and go through to combat. The flying vehicle can go to the right, our commander can go to the left. And we've got a decent buff on our things now. That is a 6/5. And Samut is a 4/5. We go up to speed 3, so we'll max out our speed next turn. Trigger the Weatherlight when we hit. And okay, a Seeker's Chariot. If we had swung in with the treasure creature, we could have played that. Got Depala as well for some card advantage. I think I'd rather have the Seeker's Chariot. But we are now at 3 speed, so we can go for the Peace Walker Colossus for free. Thanks to the discount on our commander. Yeah, I think we just pass at that. Jodah back into play again. And Bloom Tender does not have Summoning Sickness anymore, so taps for 4 mana, just missing black on that. Ugh. And Time Stretch for 5 mana. Sunbird's Invocation triggers. I thought this game was too good to be true. Cascaded into Nyx Bloom Ancient with the enchantment. Our opponents in the chat are already starting to give up. It's not good to sit through extra turns from your opponent. It might be that he shows us some kind of infinite with Time Stretch, but yeah, seems as though Meren has just disconnected, so I didn't even bother to concede. Okay, so it seems as though Time Stretch has had both of our opponents quit on us here. I think Meren has definitely scooped. So Meren times out, and we will begin these extra turns. 3 cards in hand, taps down a bunch of mana for 5 colours, and there's Kozilek, so draws 4, and he's going to have Annihilator next turn. So he just decides to scoop at that. There's been some chatter here, so I'll just show this to you, or I would have done had I not have just been kicked out of the lobby, so hopefully I can make something work there in the edit. Basically, it was a casual power level 6 game, and along comes Jodah and takes extra turns with triple mana and Eldrazi on turn 6. If that is the only Samut Vehicles game that you see this week, then I do apologise. I'm strapped for time, and, well, it's Magic Online. You see the type of thing that happens, and it takes 2 hours for it to happen, so you quickly run out of time, unfortunately. I'll try Samut Vehicles again if you do all want to see it, and if this is the video that you see, then apologies, but it's the best of a bad bunch as ever. Hopefully you all got some enjoyment from it. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.